Girl, don't make me a man. I'm a man. So, Saturday was my birthday. So, I had a beach party. After the beach party, went home, showered, dressed, all the things. And me and my friends went out to this little popular area in Jacksonville. So, we don't have a nightlife here in Jacksonville, Florida. So, we have to get what you get. So this area is like mostly where kids congregate because there are a lot of bars, a lot of little restaurants, little arcades. There's no cover charge, right? So me and my friends went to this bar and we're having a great time. I got hot, so I decided, let's go on the patio, get a little breeze. So I'm sitting down and I see this tall, chocolate, fine man walk towards me, right? So I'm sitting and he stops a little, behind me, but near me. And he called his friend over to where he was standing. So the friend came. So I'm sitting there minding my business. And suddenly I just hear this language being spoken. So now I'm intrigued. Because what are you saying? What are you saying, King? So I turn around. I'm very inquisitive. I turn around and I find myself like literally engaging in their conversation while I'm staring in their mouths. And I'm just like listening, like, what are y'all saying? What are y'all talking about? So I guess that caught their attention. So they turned around facing me. And the guy was like, well, hello. And I said, hi, how are you? And then we began to talk. So long story short, I'm gonna make it long, but this part, long story short, he is 38. He's from Ghana. He has 3 children. He's recently divorced, I think as of 2020. And he is a physician assistant. Now, when I tell you this man was so fine, he was so fine. Like, the way he was dressed, it was, grown man, but casual, very clean, very high quality, clean cut. He had like a little, some little hair, but it was taped up. But, oh my God, the smile, beautiful smile, okay? I'm like, where have you been all my life? Oh my God, this is my man. Yes, I need that. So we're discussing, each other. And I was like, well, tell me more about, your profession. So he's like, yeah, I am part of a surgical team. And I was like, really? He's like, yes. And so I'm like, okay, well, what else? And whatever. So he was like, well, I don't really like talking about my job. People, like to stereotype me. And I laughed and I said, yeah, once you said you were from Ghana, I was waiting for you to tell me you was an entrepreneur. And I was going to immediately say scammer. And so we just laughed. So we laughed and, we're having a great time. All the things, dancing, offering to buy drinks. The night was great. He did tell me that he's not looking for anything serious. Okay, cool. Let's have a great time. So with that, he knew it was my birthday, and he's like, I want to take you out for your birthday. I don't think you really celebrated your birthday. I'm like, I just had an entire beach party. And so he was like, yeah, but let's go out to like dinner or something next weekend. Tomorrow I'm on call, so I'll be unavailable, but I really want to celebrate you. It's like, okay, that will work. We can go on a date. And so we started talking about his profession again. So he tells me that recently he just, assisted in a surgery where he had to repair the aorta, the heart. And I was like, oh my God, you're so smart, in my head, right? So I was like, okay. And I was like, how was it? So he's, talking about it, and he has this joy about his work. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. So the night is progressing. He's walking me to my car, and he mentions plastic surgery. And I was like, so you can repair my boobs and repair my heart. Oh my God. That's so smart. So then he laughs and he was like, yeah, I was like, but that's so interesting. I thought when you're, doing surgery, you have to focus on one discipline. When did they allow y'all to start bouncing around? I know, girl. I know. I know. I'm with you. So he gave me some answer that I can't repeat because I don't remember. But I was like, that's interesting. Okay. So we get to the car and he mentions that he's on call. So I was like, well, what's your grace period to get to the hospital? So he's like, well, I'm only like 10 minutes away. I live in San Marco and, I work at Shands. So Shands is a hospital in Jacksonville, but the name changed to UF Health many years ago. So if people are, a native to Jacksonville, they will most likely say Shands and not UF Health. So I was like, oh, okay, so you've been here for a minute if you said Shands. Cool. So we're talking the night per, I'm already at the car. We're wrapping up conversation, getting ready to say our goodbyes. And I'm just like, can't wait for our date on Saturday or Friday this weekend, whenever. So he's like, yeah, like too bad that I'm on call. We could have, all of us, because it was a group of us, could have went back to my house and could have had, some drinks and continued the night. And I was like, I hate that you're on call, but you must save those lives in surgery. So now somewhere in the conversation, I asked him, well, how often do you go to Ghana? So he says every December. And I was like, well, why December? Is that your birthday? So he says, no, my birthday is in November. I'm a Scorpio, but there's a big celebration in Ghana in December. It's a whole thing, Christmas. Okay, cool. So I then asked, well, you were not born in Ghana. I mean, in the States, correct? You were born in Ghana. What brought you here? So he was like, that's correct. He was like, well, when I was living in Ghana, I met this woman who was in London, and we hit it off, fell in love, and we became pregnant. My mother is a pastor, super religious, and she told me I need to marry her. So I did. And at that time, she was in the process of moving to America. So I came along with her. And we had our baby. The relationship progressed. Another baby, and so on and so forth. And I was like, wow. I was like, so who's the one who got away? And so he said, I did for sure. All I care about is, just taking care of my kids, being a great dad. And I was like, that's fair. This man was so kind. Came off very sweet and smart. He was just so handsome. So we said our goodbyes and I get home. Now at this point it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. So, nighttime routine, all the things. And my curiosity was just really through the roof about this man. So I Googled the name that he gave me. Now, the name that he gave me was an African name, and he told me it means born on Sunday. I can't pronounce it. I won't dare try to pronounce it. So I was like, okay. So he put the name. I was like, well, when he saved his name in my phone, I said, no, put the whole name. I want to, make sure I know your name. So he put the name that he gave me in my phone. So I Googled it, right? Woo! I Googled it. When I Googled his name, a lot of African men popped up with that name. So I'm like, this isn't his name. So I'm like, oh my God, it's driving me crazy. I went to social media, nothing. Well, other Africans popped up, but not him. So now this is like really bothering me. So I'm like, what? Like, what is it? What's going on? So I put my thinking cap on. Okay, I put my thinking cap on. You following me? I put my thinking cap on. And when I put my thinking cap on, myself told me to put his number into Cash App. When I did, another name popped up. When I got that new name, the real name, Googled it, it popped up. Now, one part I forgot to mention in his story, he also told me he was an engineer and then he switched professions. I was like, engineer to physician assistant. Okay. So his LinkedIn popped up and it did say senior engineer, 10 years. Now, here's the thing about the LinkedIn. I ain't want to click it because I didn't want my profile to be viewed in his profile. So I just read the little description that Google provided, the preview. Wasn't enough. Still cannot find this man on social media. That's okay. You told me you got divorced. Pulled up my laptop, went to clerk of court, typed in that name. Baby, his whole life unlocked before my eyes. When I opened up his public record, because it's public, I went straight to dissolution of marriage because that's what I'm looking for, right? Child, when I tell you, I opened up all the documents that were available. Now, one document in particular, he filed an exception because the wife was asking for things that they did not agree to in their previous deposition. So he requested the transcript from the previous deposition to support his claims that they did not agree to what she's asking for now. I sat there and read all 52 pages of that transcript. And baby, when I tell you, I was up until 5 a.m. going from document to document to, I was like I was reading a book. Oh, girl, let me tell you. So number one, when he told me that he was a physician assistant, I went for 5 seconds. But when he mentioned he was a part of surgery, I said, oh no, you're not a physician assistant. Now, don't get me wrong. I just never heard of physician assistants being a part of a surgical team. I know them to be in a hospital setting, literally under the actual physician. When the hell y'all started assisting in surgery? I could be wrong. I don't know. But see, the thing about me is that I'm a very inquisitive person. I'm a very intuitive person. I'm a very intelligent person. So not much gonna get past me, especially if you keep talking. Then you tell me that you just, did the aorta. And then somewhere down the line, you talked about plastic surgery. And then you even mentioned a femur. Did I pronounce that correctly? I think I did. At one point. The hell you going from heart to plastic to orthopedic? What? I'm not letting a person that doing my boobs do my heart. I'm not letting my OBGYN do my hysterectomy and work on my bones. Who you talking to? So, when he said that dumb shit, I said, I bet he's a surgical technician. I'm sure he's a surgical tech. But I let him live. I read the transcripts of I read the transcripts of the previous deposition. Number one, you're not 38, you are 40 years old. Number two, your birthday is not in December. In November. It is in September. You're not a Scorpio, you are a Libra. Number three, you are indeed a surgical technologist. You're not a physician assistant, a part of a surgical team. You're not. You do have 3 children. You are divorced, but you were not the one who got away. She indeed got away, okay? The court asks, why is she filing for divorce? She said infidelity. During their marriage, he was always on dating sites. One in particularly, Tinder. The current woman who he is living with, he met her off Tinder. He claims that he's living with a married couple in Fleming Island who he is renting a room from. Okay. She, the wife, says no, he's living with this other woman and who he's met off Tinder. And she also have children, and all she's asking for is an address so she can feel comfortable letting her children be with him, because he's also claiming that the wife does not allow him to see his kids. In 2020, wife was pregnant, and she claims that he abandoned her during the entire pregnancy. In fact, he only sent her 2 payments, one of $200 for one child's birthday, the other for $300 for another child's birthday. Sir, you are a liar. The things you lied about, you do not have to lie about. He mentioned California a lot. So in the deposition, I found out that he was also a traveling surgical technologist, who he's traveled to Virginia for a couple of months to do work, and then California. And then he was literally, during that deposition, he was driving back to Jacksonville. And the court made him pull over to complete the deposition. Bitch, I was minding my own business. Okay, why would you come with all these lies? All these lies for no reason. I just want to know what language you were speaking and what y'all was saying. That's it. Now, part of me being very inquisitive, I'm also very conversational. I love conversation. Even if I know you're full of shit and you're lying, I want to see how far you're going to go. That's why the night continued on, and I did not, stop him in his tracks. I want to see, like, what else are you going to come up with? Again, I was going for it up until he started mentioning the different types of surgery that he was a part of. I was always skeptical once he said he's a physician assistant, but he, on the surgical team. I just never, I'm not saying it ain't true. I just never heard of it. And I had every intention on calling my friend who's married to a doctor to ask, hey, am I tripping? Is this how this works? But the more he kept talking, the more he kept telling on himself, and I just had to clerk of court him. Listen, people will tell you who they are if you just listen. Another thing he kept pointing out was that, black men are stereotyped and stereotyped and stereotyped. Why do you keep saying it? Like, the first time we joked about the scammer thing, okay, cool. But why do you keep saying this? We also mentioned F-boys, which he brought that up, right, in the beginning. Why? Like, why are we talking about F-boys and stereotypes? You just kept telling on yourself. You were telling me that you was full of it. You told me you were full of it. So my curiosity, when I got my time, I left the area and came home. My curiosity was through the roof. I could not rest until I figured out that he was full of it. I knew it, but I wanted to see it in black and white, and I did. I absolutely did. So I saw that to say, when you meet someone at this big age, go ahead and do your due diligence and clerk of court them, because it will just save you so much. But you need to have a good name. Make sure you have the right name, or it's not going to work. But my mind was just blown, okay? My mind was blown at the fact that people really go very far to lie, go out of their way to lie. And yes, to answer your question, once I found all that out, he is very much blocked. I don't even have the brain capacity to play the guessing game to see if you're going to be honest. Let me pull your card. I don't care. There's no investment there. It was just, let me just see. Let me look you up before I invest my time in this. And I encourage all of y'all to do that. When you meet somebody, save yourself the headache. Clerk of court them, Google them, go on their social media, because it's just too many scammers, too many lies. It's too much. Save yourself the time and dig into that background.